hit the button that apparently means we're live, but I have trust issues, so I always stall for a couple seconds before I say, hey, hi, hello, welcome to a Mark It Down production. My name is Danny. I've played many sports. I consider myself a good baseball player, an excellent handball player, a top tier bowler, and a decent skateboarder. I'm not a good basketball player, but I have an amazing fadeaway. So, it
You
bounces
also have
up.
a nice fade too.
Ooh, oh my God, that was so clever. Thank you. I don't think football is a real sport. I don't care about it. And real football is fine. I just also don't care, but I wouldn't disrespect the world's sport. But I'm joined by James, and you, what sports do you play / have played?
I have played baseball. I have played football. I have played poorly basketball. I was on the wrestling team in high school very briefly, and it was not pretty. And I think that's it. I think that golf isn't a sport. That's a game. And
Agree.
yeah, and probably professional mini golf.
But you've played golf.
Avid bowler. It was the worst experience of I don't want to say worst experience of my life, but as an athlete, I've never had more shame in my life
than playing golf.
Yeah, it was terrible. I am ashamed of myself, and I felt shame that day.
I mean, I didn't know you were that rich to be playing golf, so good for you. But anyway, we're here to talk about wrestling. But real quick before we do, what was your average in bowling, or are you just casual bowler?
When I was really doing it, I never had a great average, but I would get above 100 more than not. Nowadays, it's like, God. Now it's like, okay, I'll be happy if I hit like an 80, 90.
One day the Mark It Down podcast will go bowling, and if I get below 100, I'll kill myself. That's a
You heard it here, folks. We have a pact here on the Mark It Down podcast, the suicide pact.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Monday Night Raw, which, oh my God, was it a show. It cannot be classified as anything other than a show. It had all the makings of a show. There was stuff on the TV. There was commercials on the TV. And I don't know what else you need to make a show because I never worked on one, but that sounds like the majority of what you need. So this show started off with none other than Mr. Freakin' himself, Seth Rollins, as it would be. The crowd, I'll be honest, the crowd singing Seth's music never gets old to me because it doesn't.
Awesome.
It's one of those ones that's like, of all the songs, I would have never ever guessed his. It was so generic, but the crowd singing it makes it special and not generic anymore. And it's also the mix of his shittier Messiah theme with his generic but awesome Seth Rollins theme. So the combination somehow works, and it's because of the crowd. So good on WWE crowds for that. And which he plays into it. Seth doesn't turn it away. He doesn't tell the crowd not to do it. He embraces it, which is great. It's okay for a heel to want to be loved because they have an ego. A person with an ego wouldn't want a crowd of people to boo him. You would want them to cheer you, and Seth is really good at it. So when he upsets them later, it makes that work better because he was getting along with them at first, because they chanted for him to have a rematch with Riddle. He didn't want to have a rematch, so he just, turned on the crowd in that sense. But standard Rollins promo, fine stuff. He's gotten really good at delivering this style of promo. It's just not always anything special, but it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it average, and he's really good at doing it. Riddle comes out to brawl. They brawl for a bit. Some refs try to separate him. Rollins runs out into the crowd, blah, blah, blah. And then for some reason, the Judgment Day comes out. And, I say that like it's the worst thing in the world, but it's at least stories mixing up that normally don't mix up. So that's a positive. And they come out and they're trying to recruit Matt Riddle, which, is a huge step up from Dom. You know, but and it makes sense. Priest and Riddle are friends in real life, and so are Priest, Riddle and Rhea Ripley. The three of them are weird faction of friends in the WWE world, but they come out, and I actually really liked Finn Balor had a good line after Riddle said no, and he's like, I know the laws are a little bit more relaxed here in Portland, but maybe your head is a little cloudy, which was really good. Remember when Portland, like, what's the term, seceded or something, or they just exiled themselves from the United States for a little bit, and they were their own little nation/town for a month.
They seceded?
Seceded, is that the term? Yeah, I think. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that didn't go well, but good on you for trying, Portland. But it's a cool place, apparently. I assume, never been, but that leads to a Riddle versus Finn Balor match, and oh my god, on paper, how fantastic does that sound? But in reality, it's a little sad because it's two people who won't stop fucking losing, who both need wins in a match where one of them has to lose. So not great, but there was a bunch of shenanigans. The shenanigans escalated, at least. It wasn't just like Priest interfering over and over again. It was Priest interfering, Ray coming out to take out Priest, which causes a distraction, which makes it look like Riddle's going to win. But then Seth comes back out despite claiming to be done with Riddle. He costs Riddle the match and then stomps him after for good measure, leading to Seth, not brilliantly, but nicely saying, I'm done with you, move on, after coming back out to cost the guy the match and then stomp him into the mat. So fun match. Good. Riddle and Finn have great chemistry. Surprise, surprise. Match was fun. The shenanigans made sense in this case, and they escalated nicely, in my opinion. So I would say decent starts for Raw. What did you think? I know you didn't catch a lot of the beginning, but you caught the match. So what did you think about that?
I like the match. It sucks, like you said, to see two guys who are so in desperate need of a win go at it, because you want to see both guys go home with the W. But sometimes it's okay when you're just going to get such an athletic match. And while I'm not thrilled with how they're treating Riddle, there is very clearly a story being told here about him just continuously being screwed out of the win. I'm glad that Judgment Day had a good night overall. We'll talk about it later, I guess. But, I'm happy to see Finn get a win. I need them to have a little bit more direction. I don't think the recruiting process should be their story. Not to compare it to another group, but I don't want their running bit to be the Dark Order. Who are they going to try to recruit this week kind of thing? But I mean, if you could grab Riddle, you grab Riddle. But I want them to have a goal. I want them to have a focus. And it shouldn't just be getting bigger. It should be winning. It should be going after titles. It should be domination. And I guess tonight was a good first step for that. How beautiful was Finn's 1916?
Oh my God, yeah. That was the best one he's ever done in WWE, I think.
It was amazing.
I don't think normally it's an okay move. It's a little unbelievable sometimes, but this one was like, oh, I get why this is like your big setup move. Like this, it makes sense now. Riddle, took it like a champ.
He really did.
Good.
He really did.
Good stuff there. I'm totally good with that. Wouldn't it be cooler if people approached the Judgment Day about joining as opposed to them looking like kind of geeks trying to recruit people?
I completely agree. It's a fun twist because you never really see that happen. You always see these groups going out for people, whether it's the Wyatt family trying to recruit, or whether it's the Dark Order trying to recruit, or House of Black trying to recruit. You never really see anybody willfully like, please, I want to join you guys. I guess other than Sammy and the Bloodline, but it would be a really cool dynamic, and I don't know who I would want to join at this point.
Look how good that example is, Sammy and the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Sammy wanting to join the Bloodline has revitalized the Bloodline.
I completely agree. So who knows? Hopefully they'll they'll strike gold again and somebody interesting will want to join. Personally, as much as I can be iffy on the guy, and I know he's on a different brand, I think he would be a perfect muscle if they got Braun.
Oh God, I get that, and in a world, I can see that working in some world, but not right now. Braun's not off to a great start. I'm actually really happy he's on SmackDown.
Yeah, no, me too.
I didn't do the review last week, but I'm glad he's not here. Also, hello to Jinx Times in our chat. Definitely first time ever here. Welcome to the show. I hope you like it. But real quick, I don't want to get into a whole tangent. We got to move on. We're gonna fast forward through the show. But I think it's an interesting conversation, and one day we'll get into it more, especially with more time to see how it goes. But I would say so far in the Triple H era, he has not rehabbed Finn at all.
Yeah, he has
taken more losses under the Triple H era so far than anyone else on the roster, I think. So besides Riddle, but at least Riddle, it's part of his story, and maybe one day Randy will eventually come back. But I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I want more for Finn. We got so used to him being treated poorly, but now that Triple H is revitalizing people, I would like Finn to get his. But we got to move on. I don't want to spend too much time on this. But Damage Control cuts a promo. It's fine. I've realized Bayley isn't as good as I thought she was. She's still good, but I've remembered her before she got injured as like 2 steps below Becky on the mic, whereas now I'm just like, oh no, she's like quite a few down. It just, her gimmick really worked well in the Thunderdome era, and her laugh is just a worse version of Seth's, and Seth's isn't even good. It makes his promos weaker because it feels so forced and unnatural. And I would like Bayley to cut promos without the forced laugh, but you could argue it's he, sure. But anyway, we'll get back to Damage Control, as they're better known, Bayley and the Huggers.
Yeah.
We have a terrible promo by Dominic Mysterio. It's like laughably bad. The background is completely black. He's wearing all black. He's clearly reading off a teleprompter, and I never noticed those types of things. I watch SNL borderline religiously, and people read you off cue cards all the time. I don't fucking notice. I don't even care. For some reason, I couldn't help but no, I guess because it's just Dom is so bad, but I hyper fixate on the little things that normally don't bother me. This was really goofy, and once again, Rhea Ripley is the best part of this whole faction. She didn't make it less goofy, but she at least looked cool. So there's that. This was funny, right? Do you have any quick notes on this?
Just the more I see of him, I want him to succeed, but just send him down to NXT. Please. It's so clear this kid never went to promo class. And that's not his fault. I don't blame him for not being good at something. I blame the structure. I blame the machine for not letting him get better. Put him where he belongs, and that's not on the main roster.
Yeah, no offense. His dad's not the best at cutting promos. He's not bad, but I wouldn't say he's someone to teach someone how to cut a promo.
It's true.
But who are we to say that as we go on to criticize the rest of the show?
I did just one last bit about the promo. I don't know what Judgment Day is supposed to be at this point. I don't know what their gimmick is. Finn kind of looks like a BDSM pirate at this point. With the bandana, that's like the thing hanging from his pants, the leather
they're
pants.
Definitely a BDSM group for sure. Look, that's how they recruited Dom. So
it's true. I don't know what they are. For a while they were spooky. For a while they were just angry new rookies, which doesn't feel right either. But they were just angry people. Now they're kind of going back to the spooky stuff. That promo where Rio's face was just lit up in the dark. I don't know what that was, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be mafia but it was just someone who can't pull it off at all. And I don't know. Rhea's a Dom. Dom is a sub.
Yep.
We don't know what Finn and Priest are. Maybe that's the problem. Why it's harder to like understand them, because as much as we make fun of Dom, at least we understand why he is the way he is right now.
Yep.
It's because he got Rhea's legs wrapped around him, and that changed his whole outlook on life, as it would for anyone.
It's fair. It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah. Now we're here. Like, we don't blame Dom. Honestly, that's the most relatable thing about Dom so far in his entire run.
Yep.
But in all honesty, Dom is not redeemable. Even Miro couldn't redeem this man. But oh well. Moving on, Theory has a backstage promo. As always with Theory, he talks, but he doesn't say anything. So I couldn't even tell you what he said, besides that Johnny Sports Entertainment was going to face Chad Big Bad Gable in a match later. And that's pretty much it. And then, oh boy, this is probably going to be the longest part of the episode. We had the women's tag team title match.
I need you to just be unfiltered. Just let it all out.
So we had the tag team champions of Raquel Gonzalez Rodriguez versus Aaliyah, no last name, no character traits, no identifying factor besides being there, versus the Huggers of the wonderful Dakota Kai and the wonderful Io Sky. Trying to combine them. It'll come naturally one day. But it was a nothing match, because at the end of the day, it's still the women's tag division, and Aaliyah is not there. And this match really, really highlighted it. I think the best way I could put it is that she knows how to do things, but she is not smooth at any of those things, and everything she does is like 2 steps slower than everyone else around her.
So God, she's Dom. She's Dom.
Honestly, Dom's way better in the ring. Like, that's one thing Dom is not terrible at, is like pace. He's not good, but he's at least like can wrestle at the pace of everyone else, whether it's as good or not. Like, but Aaliyah has to do everything like 5 steps slower than everyone else, and it's I really focused in on it this time, because last time I was more mad about the shock of them winning, but this time I just was like, oh, I feel, because she's so like, when you look at her, you're like, that's someone you can like, and you don't know why they just have that about them, but she's nowhere near ready to be here, and that's okay. Just keep her in NXT a little more. The fact that she's held a title and like so many people haven't.
God bless. Come on.
It's kind of sad, but the Huggers win, begging the question: why didn't they win the titles in the first place? Why give them to Raquel and Aaliyah for 2 weeks, and why have them beat Toxic Attraction on SmackDown, an actual women's tag team? None of this made sense. It was a shock for not even shock's sake, because it's not a shock as much as it's deflating a balloon is not the same as popping a balloon. Okay. And they deflated the balloon with this fucking shit. And then they ripped apart the corpse of the balloon afterwards, because you deflate the balloon, you just let the air out. You could technically blow the balloon back up, but nope. Just ripped it apart. What was the point of any of this? I am so thrilled. So thrilled. Dakota Kai is finally holding gold. I know she held the NXT Women's Tag title, but it was for like 2 weeks.
2 seconds, if that long.
Yeah. So I don't know. And they probably held it before that time too. I don't know. But like, she's holding gold on the main roster. Io Sky is, of course, holding gold in the main roster. And this is fantastic. But they should have just won the first time. There was no reason for this, and it wasn't even like you do it one night and then they lose it right away. They had 2-3 weeks with it beforehand. You could have just not had this happen. You either do an absurdly short title reign or a longer one.
Mm-hmm.
And also you have the team win. Yes, they just became a team, but they're a group, they're a faction. It's more believable than the Franken team of all fucking Franken teams of Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Remember Raquel was badass in NXT, and she was like this heel that was just so dominant that people started cheering her because she would just fight people like a badass. And now on the main roster, she just smiles all the time and shows off her back and has poor choice in men, I guess. Like, and Aaliyah has never had a character, and I assume never will have a character.
Not at the rate she's going.
And it just devalues the tag titles that were barely hanging on by a fucking thread as it was. Holy shit. I hated this. It's the right outcome, don't get me wrong, but it's the right outcome from 3 weeks ago.
Yep. It feels like a reverse AEW Moxley Punk situation where that match should have, like, they shouldn't have had the first match in the first place and just had the main event at the pay-per-view. They shouldn't have had the second match. They should have only had the first match and the other team should have won. It was so weird. Like, no pun intended, it feels like it's damage control. It feels like they're doing damage control because they saw how poor.
That pun was intended. I'm so sorry, but you don't got to lie to the people about that. But
I'm sorry. It pun heavily intended. It does feel like it was damage control because the reaction to Raquel and Aaliyah winning the tag titles was overwhelmingly negative. No one liked the idea. No one supported it. Everyone wanted Bayley and the Huggers to win because it was the logical choice. So it feels like they heard and they were listening, which is good. I would like to see WWE pivot, but this was not a good pivot. This almost felt like it was a pivot for pivoting's sake.
I actually think it was the plan all along, which is even more infuriating. Honestly,
that is pretty bad.
Because I just don't get it. And yeah, who's in our chat? Nas. Yeah, first of all, what's up, Nas? But yeah, Raquel's not a good face. It's not earned on the main roster. It's no. Literally like, it's like when Bianca first got called up or when Bobby Roode got called up, and it's like, we liked you because you were really good at your job as a heel. And granted, with Bianca, that's a bad example because she's one of the best baby faces they've ever organically made through their own system.
Big time.
In a decade at least, because the Beckys and Bryans of the world were not through the machine. They were in spite of the machine, whereas Bianca was 100% manufactured by the machine, but in a way that we all have accepted and appreciated.
Yes.
So it's not the best example, but Raquel has not done anything to warrant being a face on the main roster. Like, she should be just a dominant heel or tweener, but I don't know if she's ready for that on the main roster. But as far as Bayley challenging Bianca, as Jim said, they planted the seeds later, but I'm actually upset about that. But we'll get into that later.
Just one quick thing before we switch. How much better would it be? I love Io, by the way. I love Io, and I love the role she has in the group. How much more natural would it feel if Raquel was teaming with Dakota?
Oh my God, so much more. And
put her in that group.
You have a heavy in the faction too.
Yep.
You have a strong. It would be so much better, and Io would still have something to do because Triple H clearly loves her.
Yep.
And she would still have a role. So that's actually a great idea. Also, it'd be nice if like they pretended more that Dakota and Raquel had this like
any relationship,
big friendship in NXT, one that even someone who stopped watching NXT was very, very aware of. That spawns back to when I was still watching NXT. So, there's so many problems with this, even though it's good that the titles are on them. And I'd rather them do this than keep them on Raquel and Aaliyah because that's not a tag team. And I think it's as sad as it is to say with how many Franken teams we've had win these titles, that is the most Franken of the Franken teams. That is Frankenstein's team. It's not Frankenstein. All right. It's Frankenstein's team.
It is the monster. It is not. It is not. Gosh.
But yeah, I hated that book. But anyway, I get it. You're good at imagery. Oh, no deal. Moving on with the show for now. I'll probably get mad about this in a bit and then talk about it again. But we're gonna move on. It was Jonathan Entertainment versus Chad Big Bag Gable in Jonathan Wrestling's first match on Raw ever, according to what Corey Graves said. And realistically, his call-up / debut return match, whichever way you want to describe it. He took on Chad Gable in a, yeah, this is what Triple H wanted match. You know, this was fantastic. One, Gargano was over in this match, which I was very, very happy to see, because you just don't know with crowds, because you don't know which ones are going to be more casual than the next. And Johnny Gargano is great, but I have a feeling when they go to a casual city like Corpus Christi, he's not going to get that type of reaction. But he got it here in Portland because it's a hipster place, I guess. So we'll take it. And he was so over. Gable was so good. And no one's surprised by this. Everyone knows Gable is amazing. But man, sometimes he just shows it in ways that just make you fall in love with them all over again. You know, Gargano rolled through a move, and you know, like when a guy, and Gargano does this, other guys do this too, but he rolls through a move and then he goes to kick him while he's still on the mat. Gable ducks that and turns that into an ankle lock. It was beautiful. I loved it. I loved every second of this match. I think Gargano did a great job of showing what he's all about. He had all the highlights, the big spots, the slingshot spear, which I think is one of the best spears in wrestling. One of the only ones I accept in wrestling. But he goes on to win the match, because of course he's going to win the match. But after the match, Otis tries to attack him. He ducks a couple clotheslines, throws a couple super kicks, but couldn't take Otis down before bailing, because you got to protect Otis. Not that they did that last week or anything, but we didn't review a lot for last week because I really didn't want to talk about Braun Strowman and his weird narrative. But, you know, as he was going up the ramp, Theory attacks him. Cool, whatever. We'll get in a little more into Theory, but please tell me how much you love this match.
I adored this match for so many reasons. One, it's so clear that Gable has found his new role as Mr. Dependable. He's going to be wrestling, if not every week, he's going to be involved in a healthy way every week. Ideally, would I like him to get some wins? Of course I would. I would love for him to look a little more dominant. But you know he's going to be featured, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a strong match. It's going to be a fun segment, whether it's shushing Kurt Angle or going hold for hold, move for move with the Johnny Garganos of the roster. It is great to see him flourish in this way. Hopefully that'll transition into wins, but one step at a time. Gargano looked great. At no point did he look like he never looked like he was rusty. Yeah. He didn't look like he missed a step. He definitely looked like, and I'm sure it was him just being as good as he is. It looked like he was trying to find his rhythm a little bit, but it didn't look like he was lost, which is what we've seen from a lot of guys who take time out or time away from the ring. So it was a really interesting match. It was really good psychology from a brilliant wrestler like Johnny, who had a great opponent in Chad Gable. Protecting Otis, I guess he's owed it considering the week he had last week, both on Raw and on SmackDown. But whatever. I've not much to comment on there. I will tell you, I am furious about what happened after, and it goes back weeks, if not over a month, to another segment that I complained about when we were covering it.
Wait, what happened after the match?
Yeah.
Theory attacking him, or after that?
No, when Theory attacked him. I was furious that he knocked him down with that briefcase.
Oh my God, yeah.
When Jimmy / Jey Uso, whichever one it was, no-sold the shit out of it on Raw a month back, whenever, and Johnny Gargano goes down to it. I hated it. And that segment with the Usos ruined the briefcase to me.
Yeah, I get that. I like how unforgiving about that you are. I really appreciate that.
Yep.
But yeah, that was garbage. I don't know. I'm not going to try to defend it with WWE logic, although I'm sure their defense is that he wrestled match beforehand. But, you know, that's bullshit, and it's stupid. But whatever. Good start for Theory, and it puts him right back into his feud with Theory. So everything was progressed here. Fantastic match. Now, I think we both preferred this match to the Finn Riddle match, as good as that was too.
Yeah.
But on paper, which one of those matches sounds better?
On paper, I don't know. On paper,
Right?
it should be on paper. It should be about even. It's just whatever style you like better. This match was way better though, and or at least in my opinion, it appealed to me a little bit more. But it was also the hype of Gargano's first match back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But real quick, what's up, Dragoon, in the chat? And yeah, ultimately Dakota Kai being champion is, end goal. So we'll take it. But like, we could have had it sooner, and I think we would all preferred that. But yeah, Gable is tremendous. Nas, we're all on the same page there. This match was awesome. Fucking hell. Good shit. Good shit all around. Let me go back to my notes real quick. I'm jumping back and forth. Okay, yeah. So Theory attacked him after the match. Whatever. Goes down to the ring, cuts a promo. Man, this was a little Vince-ish, having someone be fucking plastered all over the show like Theory was. But it's fine. Theory's cutting a promo, and once again, he talks, but he doesn't say anything because he's not as good at promo as you guys think he is. He's just fine at delivering scripted lines, Do we have someone here? But, he's interrupted by Kevin Owens, and oh my fucking God, who's good at cutting promos? Kevin Owens. You know who's great at cutting promos? Kevin Owens. You know who is fucking fantastic at cutting promos? I will give you 5 seconds to guess. 5, 4, 3,
Kevin Owens.
2. Yes, it is Kevin Owens. You know who might be the best promo in the whole goddamn company? I think it's Kevin Owens.
I think so too.
I can't think of anyone better, honestly.
He can play any role beautifully. He can be funny. He could be serious. He could be scary. He could be angry. He could be apathetic. He is amazing on the mic, and it's so natural to him. He feels like a real guy talking. He doesn't feel like a guy cutting a promo. And this goes back to even when things were more scripted. I know things are a little looser now, but he always felt so genuine and authentic. And I don't even know if he could teach what he does. It just feels like something that is so him.
You absolutely cannot teach what he does. It's not even you either have it or you don't. It's something that you will it's not that you have it or you don't. You'll either get it or you won't.
Yes.
Because that is just a person that naturally probably talking a lot, and eventually you talk faster and faster to the point where you spew out your sentences quicker, and when you do it enough, you get good at it, then no matter what you spew out, it comes together in a nice way. And Kevin Owens is beautiful at that. He is a poet in terms of spewing out shit. Yeah. And very few, if any, do it better than him, and this was beautiful. He basically was saying a lot of what he said there last week, but saying this time, hey, you could be everything you said you would be, but it's not how you think it is. It's not through being handed opportunities. Opportunities, I don't blame you for taking because I took them myself, but through failure, through realizing you're not the best, but not letting that stop you and knowing that you can keep being better and keep getting better. And I am not even trying to joke in here because I can't do it justice whether I joke or not, but he got so emotional. He kept amping up at all the right points and in all the right notes to make the promo get more and more intense and get the crowd more and more riled up. And the only line where I had to write it down was where he says, he's like, guys like you are a dime a dozen, whereas guys like me and Gargano, he kept putting over Gargano a lot in this promo. Yep. We're once in a lifetime, or once in a generation or whatever he said. But then the thing I had to write down, to guys like Theory, or guys like him and Gargano are the heart and soul of the business, while guys like Theory are just the appendix, completely disposable. Beautiful beautiful. I don't know if you finished your rap, but maybe incorporate that into it. But so good. I love Kevin Owens.
Yep.
God, I love how you can't go more than 6 months without saying that out loud, without realizing that again.
Yep.
Kevin Owens is the promo equivalent of listening to your favorite song for the first time over and over again. He's so good at it. Am I overreacting here, or do you agree?
No, I completely agree. Kevin Owens is so underappreciated, underappreciated because he's not underrated. We all know how good he is. It's just he isn't given enough. And it's crazy to think that the last time this man won any type of gold was 2017.
Yeah,
that's insane. He burned so bright so fast in his initial run on the main roster. He won everything there was to win, save for the tag titles. He won the Universal title. He won the Intercontinental title. He won the US title. He did everything. And then they realized, we got to pump the brakes on him. But we can't get rid of him because he's so good and we've established him too much. And now it feels like they realize it's time to push him back the way he needs to be pushed. I would love to have this guy winning a title. Honestly, the way it's been, I would love for him to take the title off Roman. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think he has built himself up again with just through promo work at this point to be a believable main event contender against Roman.
I'd honestly say he's only second to Cody at this point. So I would say it's more possible than it was a month ago. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As opposed to, and it's not his fault, as opposed to when he actually did challenge Roman a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever that was, I never believed in it. Yeah. I never believed he could do it. Now it's like, why not? It should be Kevin Owens. So I love Kev. Again, when we hit 200 subscribers, you guys will hear the history, the physical history I have with Kevin Owens. But, it's bad. I have shame, Danny.
Shit.
But Kevin Owens is amazing. And the more they can give him, the better. And Theory will benefit so much from him. And truth be told now, because this is the second time he and Theory have really, locked horns. When Theory was first coming up on Raw, he took out Kevin. He got the win on Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. How great would it be in some world where Kevin Owens wins the title and Theory cashes in on Kevin Owens? That's the story I believe.
That would be atrocious. But real quick, Nas, see what happens with Theory with the briefcase, and he's never gonna cash in, or at least not successfully. Triple H is not dumb enough to put the world title on Theory after building up the world title for 2 years on Roman. Even if it's Kevin Owens, even if it was Drew at Clash of the Castle, Theory will either cash in and lose, or hopefully, more interestingly, never be able to actually cash in and run out of time, because that's the only thing that hasn't been done with Money in the Bank, and that's the only thing I really want from this. Theory can be a future star. Doing it now would devalue him and the title. He is not garbage, but I'm gonna be hyperbolic. He's fucking garbage. Don't put it on him. That would be a waste. You might as well just put the U.S. title back on him and put it on Bobby in that case. And I think putting the title on Bobby a third time would be a waste. First time, perfect. Second time, didn't need it. But I'll take it over Theory. There's no world in which Theory cashing in is better than whatever the alternative is. I'd rather more Roman, and I don't want any more Roman. I'd rather Kevin Owens. I'd rather imagine Theory cashing in on Cody. How does a Cody Theory feud sound exciting? You're lying to yourself if you say yes. And I know you're saying yes, Nick. I know you're saying yes. It's not exciting. That's garbage. That is because Cody Rhodes is the second best promo in the company behind Kevin Owens. And both of them make Theory expose him for how bad he really is. He is the actor from the Liberty Mutual commercial who flubs his lines over and over again. He just has the face.
Not Mr. Liberty Bibbity. Not
Mr. Liberty. Yes, that is him. I've nailed it. Great analogy by me. Fantastic. Moving on.
We have to.
Kevin Owens versus John Cena, guy who would have won feud of the year. I believe it. I instantly believe you. But great stuff by Kevin Owens. Fantastic. Amazing. Give that guy all the praise. I mean, we already did, but you watching at home, give him the praise. Next up, we had Bianca Belair having an open challenge, which she should have more of because she's really good at wrestling and is that type of champion. So why not do it? So all week I'm thinking it's not going to be Bayley because that'd be bad. It's not going to be the Huggers because that'd be bad. It should be one of her tag partners from the show because that would be exciting. And it should be Alexa Bliss because I've realized they're never going to give Alexa Bliss a run at the title, like a serious run.
Feels that way.
There's just no room in their plans. It's going to be Bayley for a while and then probably Rhea going into Mania. And maybe there'll be something in between. But at this rate, who fucking knows? So you might as well do it there because I don't want Alexa to hold the title ever again, honestly. But
really,
after that, yeah, she's
really?
held it like 5 times. The first one was good, but it's too much. It's too much. I want her to chase. I don't want her to win it. I want her to be in the picture, though. I don't want.
But what do you do with her then? Because she can't win the tag title again. She's done it again. I think she did that a couple times too many too.
You have her chase. I don't see Alexa Bliss wrestling 4 years from now. So I don't see how long, and that's because a lot of the women don't wrestle for as long. They move on to bigger and better things usually, or just other things that are less painful in their bodies, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't see her doing it for much longer. And just put people over. Just Alexa Bliss hasn't laid down for as many people as she should. And just chase, put people over. She doesn't need the title
Fair
ever
enough.
again.
Fair point.
But no, Alexa didn't answer the challenge the way we're talking about it. You would think she did, but it was actually answered by Sonya Deville. And I would have loved that if Sonya had been pushed the way she deserved after the Mandy feud.
Yeah.
But Sonya never wins matches anymore, and that's not that she ever won matches before, but after she changed her character, got really cool and over, and did some of the best work of her career, and then had to go away because of a fucking creep on the internet, or not even on the internet crossed into real life. She comes back and she can't get the fucking push that she deserved. I didn't mind her being an authority figure at first, but it went on for 9 months too long, probably even longer. And there was no payoff to it. And she also had 4 matches with Bianca in 5 weeks. So, I didn't really want to see this. And of course, Bianca won. So this was very disappointing. And then Bayley came out afterwards and was like, "Oh, look at you. Are you proud of yourself? Are you this, that?" She does her fake laugh a bunch, which again is making me realize that she's not as good as I remember at this. Not that she's bad, she's just good to when I thought she was fantastic earlier. And she basically starts alluding to challenging for the title, which I'm actually upset about after last week because I thought it was really cool how she was gloating over Bianca. I was like, no, I'll face you when I want to. I already beat you. I have nothing to prove, so I don't need to face you for the title right now. Just to kind of immediately go back on that a week later. But, the huggers around the ring, Alexa and Asuka make the save. They stand tall. I would have rather had the people who just won the title stand tall here, but, what do I know or care, I guess? I don't know. What did you think about this?
First off, I'm just happy that there were 2 strong women's segments on the show, 2 women's title matches on the show, and that both got a decent amount of time. So again, I wasn't crazy that it was Sonya Deville, but I'm glad she's got TV time, I guess. I agree.
Where was her tag partner, Natalia?
Very slowly getting to the ring.
Screw you, Chad.
I agree. I would love for Bianca to do an open challenge every week, make it similar to like Cena's US Open Challenge kind of thing. She's that kind of champion. She's that kind of character. And it's going to highlight more women every week. So in general, I would love that. Match itself was fine. Nothing incredible, nothing amazing, but not bad. And I agree, the heels probably should have been standing tall at the end of this, but I get them not doing it because at Cardiff, the heels won. So I guess there needed to be a little back and forth. But yeah, fine. I don't think Bayley's going to win. I don't. I will say one thing that is a little contradictory to you. I was not super crazy about Bayley during the pandemic era when she was really at her hottest, when she was really like,
oh, really?
Yeah. I think I got a little too burnt out with her because they had her on Raw and SmackDown every week. So
That's
even
fair.
even if she was doing great work, I got too much of it too fast and I couldn't appreciate it. Here, I'm finding myself appreciating her work in a way I couldn't back then. But I do agree with you. I think some of the cracks in the armor are starting to get exposed a little bit. But I also want to see this confident Bayley as a babyface. I want to see if that'll work for her because I don't think it's working as a heel anymore. Not that she's not a great heel. She is. She's good at getting the crowd to boo her eventually. Like they want to cheer her in the beginning, but she's good at turning them around.
I don't think they do anymore. I think that was just for the first 2 weeks. I feel like the crowd's over that already.
You think they're just cheering her? You think they're just cheering her or they're just booing her now?
I think they're just booing her now.
Yeah. I still have Clash at the Castle in my brain when they were just doing the cheer for her.
Yeah, that's of course like that's a secondary hometown right there.
Exactly. But it was I think her turning face one is long overdue at this point because she turned heel pre-pandemic. She turned heel, I think, in 2019, and I don't necessarily know the story you go with her. But she's just going to lose to Bianca, and then she's going to be stuck dead in the water from there if she stays as a heel, in my opinion. So
no, that's fair. I think it'll be fascinating to see how she does turn face again. I don't know. I think her being on both shows was good because I think her and Sasha were carrying the shows, and maybe her because I'm going to be honest. As much as I just criticized Bayley a bit there, her and Sasha's run made me realize that Bayley was always the better of the two of them. And this is controversial, but it's actually just true, but people don't want to think about it or realize it. Sasha Banks has never cut a good promo on the main roster.
I want to argue so much, but I can't.
But you can't think
I can't think of a good promo. I can't.
Yeah, whereas like any of Bayley's heel promos were either good, great, or bad in a great way. They're all fantastic. Whereas that's the point of her character. Whereas like Sasha as a face has always been characterless. And as a heel was Bayley second. So Bayley was the star of the team at that point. But that was Sasha's, at least her character was, I'm going to turn face. And that was the best part of it and the most intriguing part of it. But so I think Bayley deserves all the hype and circumstance. And as much as I'm criticizing her, there's some great stuff coming. I already know that she's going to cut some great promos. She's going to have some great moments. She's only wrestled fucking Aaliyah so far and then the 6-woman tag. There's great stuff to come with Bayley. So we'll get there. And then there's a bunch of bullshit. Edge had a backstage promo with Rey Mysterio where he's being really petty about fighting his friend's son. And like, I know Dom is technically an adult, but he is a 15-year-old who's discovering how rough puberty can be. And you can't tell me otherwise. So Edge wanted to fight him so bad is really weird. And especially when you haven't been a father long enough to want to fight a kid, it's not warranted yet. But, that was weird. And then we're going to get Bobby versus Seth for the U.S. title next week. And Whoop de freaking do. Some of you guys think this is a big deal, and I'm going to tell you you're wrong, and you're stupid for thinking it's a big deal. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in a vacuum, could be a big deal. Seth Rollins got his title. He's a guy who hasn't won gold in a long time, just like Kevin Owens. But he's not going into a feud with Bobby Lashley. He's still feuding with Matt Riddle, and he cost Matt Riddle a match tonight. So how the fuck do you think this match is going to end next week?
Exactly.
So it's already pointless, and I already don't care about it. So if
I
you're
agree.
excited, you're silly. Also, Bobby Lashley's a bad guy. He only picks on people who are busy fighting other people because he can't win matches on his own. He needs interference from fucking stoners and serial killers. Like, what kind of role model is this guy? Gross.
I'm not going to go that far. I do.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. James, one of us is frozen. It's you. You're frozen. I'm looking at the YouTube feed, and it looks like you're frozen. But you got a nice smile on while you're frozen, so that's good. I'll take a screenshot of it, and I'll figure out something to post on Instagram about it later. That's for that. I'm the host now. This is not right. He'll be back. He'll be back. I don't know what he was going to say. I assume he was just going to blindly agree with me because I'm usually right about everything. But we'll figure it out when he gets there, or when he gets back, if he gets back. I think he was just ditching me. But anyway, sorry for that, guys. We're a professional broadcast here, and we never have problems. So this is an anomaly of sorts. The Mets game was rough today. It was rough. That was the right word to use, man. This guy is 1 for 34. It's disgusting. It's gross. But anyway, what else happened? Yeah, we're gonna get that U.S. title match next week. Whatever. And then innocent fucking kidnap victim, The Miz, was stalked at his own house because Dexter Lumis is a sex offender. I realize that this is Dexter Lumis is somehow working and it's over, but it's because it's silly, because you can't do it seriously. Otherwise, it's just a white guy with a mustache kidnapping people. That's a sex offender. You can't do it on a PG show, so he has to be goofy, which it is. That's why it's The Miz. That's why Miz is decent at his job, but I don't know. I just kind of realized that this week, I guess. Oh, God, I'm so unprofessional. Excuse me while I try to get this guy back in the fucking Zoom. I don't know how to do it. Oh, God. I can't be bothered. Figure it out, dude. I don't know what to do. Guys, we're pros. We're pros. Anyway, it's a main event. It was main event time. How did you get back in on your own?
I copied the code and I just typed it in really fast because I was really scared.
Cool. Welcome back. We've kind of moved on, but you had opinions on Bobby and Seth or whatever you're gonna say.
All I'll say, because I don't want to waste too much time, I think Bobby is a much more overact than they're allowing him to be. His crowd reactions have been unbelievably strong over the last couple of months.
Can I just tweak that a little bit? Bobby Lashley is far more over than he has any right to be.
Agree, disagree. I don't know what to say.
You agree in a way, though, because there's no reason he should be right now based on presentation, which is kind of what you're saying.
I'd say before the last couple of months, it made a lot of sense because he was putting on some banger matches consistently.
With who?
I mean, but shockingly. All right, I will take back the banger matches. But the crowd really got behind him when MVP turned on him. And then when he was going against Brock, the crowd was really behind him. So it just sort of just kept building up and building up and building up. And now I think they're kind of squandering it a little bit with this US title run because they haven't done anything of like real substance with it. But I've loved Bobby, and I've thought Bobby was great for a long time, and I'm glad that he's getting some recognition now. But now it does feel a little bit weird because they're not doing anything, and the crowd's still behind him.
And he's bullying innocent fucking victims.
I hope he beats Seth like relatively clean because I think it'd be a nice feather in his cap.
Not beating him clean. Also, that would be terrible. Seth is as over as Bobby is. Seth is more over, and Seth is always going to be better at doing everything than Bobby. Whereas Bobby is one note. He's really good at that one note, but he's one note. But I just keep it on. He's doing fine. Like it's fine. It's just it's been secondary to other stories.
Yes.
And that's more the problem. It's not necessarily him as champ. It's just right now he's not when it was great when he built up for the match with Ciampa, but in hindsight, it's a little worse now because, well, one, that was really just set up for a feud he's not a part of, and two, everyone that lost in that fucking tournament has gotten the title shot pretty much. So
yeah,
there's no point to it.
I will say I do feel that the title has been elevated if he himself has not.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that very much. That's a great way of putting it. Anyway, the main event, fucking loser Mysterio took on Kid Hayden, newly crowned dad, like Edge, and I can't believe this is main event in Raw. Imagine telling yourself that any amount of years ago that this match would main event Raw. If Eddie could see this, he would really nip the joke that Dom is his son in the bud.
Yep, he would not want to be related to this at all.
Yeah. The match was whatever. I fast forwarded through most of it. I took a shower. You can't make me care about a Dominic Mysterio match. He had one good one against Seth Rollins, and that was his first match 2 years ago, and it's been all downhill from there. It's weird how a lot of people have their best matches with Seth Rollins. It's almost like he's fucking fantastic or something. But
it's true.
This match was whatever. It ended whatever because it ended in a DQ when the heels got involved, but not when Rey Mysterio fucking stood in the ring and grabbed Edge and didn't let him hit a move on his son. Because Edge was taking Edge, you got kicked in the balls, dude. What the fucking do? Oh my God, get over it, bro. You sound like such a baby right now.
That was every day in high school. Grow up. Grow up, Edge.
Yo, I have a friend named Eddie, and that man has been kicked in the balls more than anyone I've ever met in my life. I feel so bad for him. And sometimes he watches the podcast. I don't think he's watching right now, but I'll tell you this. One time, he was on a swing, and another one of our friends tried to jump onto his lap on the swing. And you can figure out the rest. And he went down. Eddie, if you ever hear this, let me know if I got that story right. I think that's how it went. He did cry. It was understandable.
Eddie, I'm crying for you, man.
It's a lot for a 14-year-old to, deal with. So, match sucked. The beatdown was fine after. It's a way to write Edge off TV because he's a part. I just wanted Beth versus Rhea, and I just don't think we're gonna get it anymore.
I don't think so either.
And I'm
We're gonna end up with fucking Beth versus Dom. That's what we're gonna get.
Oh god, I would. Dom, good for you, Dom, working with legends. But I don't know. What did you think about this? I don't even have good insults for this because I feel nothing about it. Besides that Rhea's awesome.
Yes. The only real positive I can give, and it's so little, but I can see the sparks there. It feels like he's starting to maybe feel himself a little bit. It's starting to feel like Dom is looking to establish a character of some sort. We saw him with a little bit of swagger. You know, he did the Eddie like shoulder thing. He had a little bit of, I don't want to say moxie, but he definitely was showing attitude. And that's basic. Attitude is basic. It's more than what he's had for years now. So if there is a positive, it's that maybe when it's all said and done, he will actually benefit from this, even if I can't see it right now.
Is he? I mean, I would say he's trying to be more confident. He shouldn't be, but he's trying. But it comes off more as like, you know, when you see like a news story about like a 10-year-old who smokes like a pack a day, you know, and you're like, oh wow, okay, that's interesting, but yeah, you're still a fucking 10-year-old, you know. Like I talk a lot of shit about wrestlers who are all people that work out a shit ton and are pretty big for the most part, except Johnny Gargano. But you know, I talk a lot of shit because like I'm not afraid of the Miz. He's in great shape. He's big.
Did we talk about that, by the way, tonight?
I did. You were gone.
You did. I was gone. Fair enough.
You know, Dom is. I would never. Dom could have a gun, and I could be in a wheelchair, and I wouldn't be afraid of that man. He is that man, that fucking child. That dude will be 50, and I'll call him a child. I'm like 5 years older than him. He's a fucking child. He shouldn't be able to vote. This man deserves no rights. Ray, you're a legend. I respect you. I love how you came back in 2018 in the best shape of your life and made up for the weirdest moment of your career in 2014. You're a terrible father. This is a why did you make your son wear a mask? Like there's so many problems you could fix. Send your son to NXT. Make him wear a mask.
Stop being selfish. Stop being selfish. Put him down where he belongs.
Go to AEW. Should have gone years ago. Could have been a locker room leader in a time where they needed locker room leaders.
Nick Maniotis said it best. Ray is so much cooler whenever he's not in WWE. Everywhere he went, New Japan, he was cool. All In, he was cool. Now he's just Dom's dad.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like his comeback was so good, and man, his son's really, really dragging him down. And normally, you know, it's like, you know, parents are the embarrassing one. Nah, not this time. Not at all.
Be ashamed of your kid, right?
You got Hook and Taz where they're both cool. They're both great at what they do, respectively. And then you got Ray and Dom, who is Ray, you're a great swimmer, but your son is drowning and he is flailing and he is taking you down with him.
This is the equivalent, the Hollywood equivalent of Will Smith and Jaden Smith. The moment Will started doing movies with Jaden, his career fell apart. And that is what's happening here.
Yep, and I can't think of anything noteworthy in Will Smith's career lately. So, yeah, this was garbage. Do you have any thoughts on the Miz being stalked at his own house and being an innocent victim that we're all supposed to
that's the. So I've been enjoying this for the most part. Like, I've really been enjoying it. It's just a fun story. They have to be careful now with how they move forward because Dexter is like Miz is the bad guy, but he's the victim here. And it's been fine because it's just been Miz. He's been fucking with Miz. And we don't even know what he's been doing with Miz. We just know that he's been following him. Now he's in his house where his children are. They got to be really careful with what they want this character to be.
Seth was in Edge's house where his children were.
But Seth was a heel. Dexter is being presented as like a kind of baby face.
No, I got it. And this is one of the things I was saying while you were gone is that I said the exact thing. We got to be careful how they present this, but I think they have to be goofy about it because they like, which is kind of what you were saying too, which is just funny because you were gone at that point, but we're saying a lot of the same things, but I went a little too far with it. But because if you don't present this as goofy, it's not even that it's too serious, like, oh, he's in his house. It's that he's a white guy with a porn mustache kidnapping people. He's a sex offender.
Yep.
You don't kidnap people when you're a white guy with a mustache for other reasons. And, I'm fine with that type of story in a drama, in a soap opera. I assume that's the bare minimum for an AMC show or an HBO show, but like, there's a PG show at the end of the day. And, I think we're past the point in comedy where you can be like, haha, the guy got raped. It's funny. Like, I laughed when a demon raped Jonah Hill and This Is the End. And I'd still laugh if I watched it today because that movie is fantastic and it holds up and it's somehow underrated. But, I just feel bad for the Miz and it's so weird because I want him to be killed off, honestly. Or like, he is the good guy here. He is the victim. He's really showing his fucking not even C+, just his C level acting skills here.
This poor guy.
Those Marine movies really, really paid dividends here. But then again, seeing his house, I don't feel as bad for him.
And I think that's his shoot house too. I think that's legit his house.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. So all nonsense. It has to be because you can't do the serious. It doesn't work if it's serious, and that's always the case with stalkers in wrestling. They always start off a little serious and they always end up goofy.
Yep.
Every time. Because otherwise it doesn't work. Because they always want to tell the relationship that the kidnappee, falls for the kidnapper, whether it's like Tori or Lita or Christy Hemme, or I don't know. Actually, I don't know how the Christy Hemme one turned out, but
yeah, I don't even remember that one.
What Sam something? Sam something. I don't know. But they always
in TNA.
Yeah,
that's Dexter Lumis.
Oh, really? Just without the mustache?
Samuel Shaw became Dexter Lumis.
Oh, so he didn't even change his character when he went over. He
got like deeper into it. But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, he got buff. Wow, good for him.
Yep.
Yeah, Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell, like, for some reason, wrestling has this, like, kidnap fantasy where they want the person to have Stockholm syndrome and fall for the kidnapper. It's weird, and you could probably do a whole psychological video essay about it, and we won't. But I'll pretend like we will. I'll pretend like we will one day, but we won't. But anyway, there's nothing going on the show. It was fine. It would have been an A- in the Vince era, but for Triple H, it's a C+ show, and that's fine.
That's fair. 2
good matches. And that's it. And one infuriating, but ultimately technically good result in a title match. Fine show. All the nonsense we just discussed. What do you guys think? I'm going to cut a lot of you guys off. We get a chance to stay in the chat, but if you have any opinions on Dexter Lumis as a character, let us know. I think we put it well. You have to play it goofy, otherwise it doesn't work. But yeah, fun show. Do you have any final thoughts?
I agree. This was one of the weaker Raws I've seen under the Triple H era. It had its high points. I'm not going to say it was bad, but it was definitely on the weaker side. And yeah, I'm interested. I feel like they're trying to build up next week's as a bigger Raw, so I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see how that goes next week. But if you're gonna watch anything from the show, watch the Gable Johnny match and watch the Kevin Owens promo.
Yes, absolutely.
And then if you want, watch Riddle Finn, but like what Kevin Owens promo, Gable Gargano, that's the highlights. And yeah, hey, you've been to Chicago, right?
A couple times, yeah.
Do you have any good bakery recommendations or?
There's this one place that this guy, this Walking Dead enthusiast kept hyping up. Mindy's. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Oh yeah, Chris Hardwick loves that place. Yeah, he always. Yeah, he was eating them when the show went on, when Talking Dead went on the air. It was weird.
Yeah, super weird.
He was really, really upset at the people at G4 or whatever channel had at midnight on, but was that Comedy Central? I don't know. It all blends together at some points. But anyway, Walking Dead season 6, episode 9, best episode in the entire history of the show. Good night, everyone. Go home. Be nice to animals. Don't drink and drive. And go to sleep at normal hours. What the fuck, bro?